Alright. So here we go. I don't think I need very much of that. So I'm going to make a cutting plane. I don't care where. I'm happy with that cutting plane. I'm going to move it back to where, because all I want is I want to keep some of it. I like that. That works for me. I'm going to go ahead and trim the end of that off. Actually, I'll split it in case I want to look at it later. Trim is pretty permanent. Making meshes. I know you can do it. What's funny is it doesn't look like that it's that sophisticated, but it must be.
Is there any way to compress the Rhino file?
You can save small, which loses all the mesh data, but as soon as you open it, you have to go through this waiting for the meshes.
Oh.
This is what's taking the time right now. I mean, it's already done. I can hit escape whenever I want. And the splitting has taken place already. So, put this on a different color layer. And actually, I would kind of like to hide all of these things. I will group them and hide them, so it's easy to unhide them later. I don't care much about that curve, but I want to be able to look straight down for a minute so I can draw. Putting this back locked. So that's your leaf. This is the stem. Curve. Extend by arc to point. Something bright. You got anything bright? No, it's all dark. What does that say about you, Stephanie? It's kind of where I was going with it. Same thing over here. I'm not really that picky about what I get. I just want to get something. So here are these two curves. I actually want them up here on this flat surface, so I'm going to set my C-plane to that. And unfortunately, these both came off the bottom edge of that, which I don't want. Doggone it. Deselect those edges. Put those up. I was hoping that they would match perfectly, but since I pulled them off the bottom corners, they might not. I'm going to rebuild it so they don't have very many points at all. Like 8. And then I'm going to match. That'll just make sure that they line up perfectly with this tangency. It's important they line up perfectly because I'm going to use them to, yeah, and I want them to match, line up when they flow. So there are those two things. Now I want to see how they're going to line up with this flower. Now see, part of the problem is that this is the end of your flower and it's not lining up with the end of your shank.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to kind of move things around a little bit probably to make this work, but for the sake of argument right now, just going to make a nice couple of curves to make into a shank. Not really picky about how it turns out. I am so happy with that. Words can't describe how happy I am. And then curve, edit tools, match, just to make sure these guys are still in agreement. Bring this up. I'm going to project these curves onto the back. I do not want to delete the input. I want to keep it. And I really only want from here back, so I'm going to explode these. Yeah, that's what I want. Don't want the rest. Goodbye now. Okay, I want to be able to trim this off and have it match or blend. So, circle. Circles are good. Project, just so it goes down on the ground here. I like that. And that. Trim. Goodbye. Blend. Fine, I don't care. I don't care. Join you together. Once again, I don't want really complicated math on this. So I'll take it 671 points right now. I'm going to drop that down to about 12. Maybe a little more than that. 25. 25.
Yeah.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now I am going to create the rest of this shape. I need an ISO curve down the middle of this. Oh, I don't really care for where that's going, so I'm not going to even do that. Instead, I'm going to offset this edge to the middle. And I'm going to pull it so it sits right on that surface. And I'm going to extend by arc to point again. One of these is an endpoint. Oh, no. I'm bad. I joined those together. Oh, that's bad of me. Yes. Fine. Forgive me already. Explode it. Get rid of that piece. Join that piece. Rebuild it so it's easy math. Oh. 8 works good for me. Turn on my control points. Do some moving around. Put this point on top of that point. Go to my front C plane and pull it straight down. That way I know I have a nice smooth transition there. I'll do this. Now, I understand how construction planes work, so I can do this like a crazy man.
Yeah.
I'm just in here pushing points, having fun, not a care in the world. But I know that when I look at this, when I rotate the view, it's going to look awful. And I'm okay with that because I expect it. I'm going to change this drawing from each view independently. The only thing I'm not going to change is that one. Now I'm going to come up here and look down at it. I could go straight to a top viewport, but there's no need. I can do it by eye. Now, Stephanie, I'm going to make sure that I pull everything with ortho. Because if I pull everything with ortho, I can't mess up. Do this height. That's right. When you're doing control point editing, what you're always looking for is consistency. Some way to control the game. Yeah, that's better. Now, I'm going to need you to make a much sexier shape out of this than what you've made, because that's just awful.
Yeah.
for sake of argument. We have that. Now I need to make a cross section down here that makes some kind of sense to somebody. So I'm going to duplicate an edge, duplicate an edge, duplicate an edge, turn off the orange, turn off the other orange, turn off the other orange. Exactly. I'm going to use this curve to split this. I'm going to draw a line, just using your snap. Somewhere up along here, pull straight over with the Shift key. That should trim this off. And thank you. I'm going to do a curve, blend curve, adjustable blend curve. From you to you. I'm not taking any time. I'm going to join all these bad boys together into one cross section. I'm going to do a surface and curve network. I need to split these though, so they're two separate curves. And now I'm going to surface it. You, and that's it. Now I want this to bite into your piece. So, surface, extend surface. 0.5. Okay. Transform, flow along surface. Okay, and if this had a prettier cross section, you can see it's biting right in.
Yeah.
If this cross section were continued, that would be all the way down the shank. And what layer is that weird little thing on the leaf? Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay? But you've got to fix the relationship between this and the shank.
Yeah.
And you've got to get a prettier cross section coming up on this that can actually be made into something like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright. One more quick question. So for this part, the stone right now is kind of biting into one of the petal. Would that be fine, right? Because the stone is gonna be moving.
You want the stone to be flexible, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to make them in two separate pieces, right?
Yeah.
So that won't be biting into anything because...
Only the jump ring is going to be pinned together as the...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
And one thing, do you mind this one? The stone setting, yeah. That one. Oh, would the setting be fine? Because I was thinking just have the stone set like that.
Mm-hmm. Does it make a nice seat?
Yeah.
That seat should follow the angle of your crown.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be a straight line, it should be beveled.
Yeah.
And it should be beveled to follow your stone. Easy way to do that is to make a cutter out of your stone. That's called a cutter. To speak in matrix speak. We have this group together. I'm like, why can't I make it go away? It's supposed to go away. It's not working. Surface edit tools on trim. I'm gonna hide you for a minute. Delete. I want the border. I only want that one. Extrude straight up. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
So, but it's still, that set should be fine, right?
Except for I would give it a thicker wall.
Okay. Right now, the 0.8. It's gonna be like a pencil.
I'm throwing away yours. Pasting in mine.
Yeah.
Okay. I would bring that. How high did you say it is now?
It was 0.8.
0.8. I would give it another 0.8.
1.6?
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a 0.61. 0.61.
Okay.
You want plenty of metal to bend over. See, one of the problems is right now, this thing's right up against the jump ring.
Yeah.
So how are you going to push metal over with the jump ring right there? Okay? So give yourself some space, some height. But that's how you would make this.
Yeah.
Is you would just make a solid thing and then use the stone as its own cutter.
Okay.
Punch that thing right out. Okay?
Alright.
What was I? I was going to show you something. And now it's gone. Can't remember. Cannot remember. Oh, I remember what I was going to do. You are Stephanie. And this is going to be in the STL file. And then I'm going to save this file. Independent study.
That's my USB, so that.
That's your USB.
Yeah.
I need mine. Oh, you want it on USB though. I can put it right on your USB.
Yeah.
Independent study. Okay, so you have that. Leave. And while that's still running,
Ooh.
3D cut
So if
coming into the sculpt room.
yeah. Where can it have
It's in-
access to the 3D code?
It's in all of the CAD studios.
Okay, so
So it's downstairs. It's in
and
on the
it's
C
second floor.
and C515. It should be there, and it should be on 231 as well. But for sure, it's downstairs and in C515. Okay. Right click. Import object. And for some reason, the center is way in the heck down there. I don't know why, but that's okay. I need to make this big. The brushes don't like tiny geometry in 3D code. So I'm going to scale it 1000%. It's still there, it just disappeared. I don't want it voxelized. Voxels are a different kind of technology. I want a surface for now, so I'm going to go without voxelization. And I'll hit apply. Yes. Now I need to find it. It's somewhere. Where'd you go? It's right there. Okay. That's because you had it in a weird place in Rhino.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to. I would like to transform and move it around, but I don't need to do that for now. I just wanted to show you what you can do in here. First thing you want to do is you want to make it dense enough geometry. That's actually not very dense geometry. So I'm going to come in here to geometry, resample. You like about 1,000,000 faces usually. Or 10 times, either 10 times or 1,000,000. 10 times will make this 490. That's good, 490,000. And I'll make it smooth. I'll hit OK. Okay. Now the fact that this is saying 0.2 means that it's still really small as far as density goes. So I'll give it a little more. I'll undo and I'll resample again. This looks really smooth, by the way,
Yeah.
but it isn't. If I voxelize this, which is the native language for this software,
You'll see bugs.
oh, you'll see a lot worse than that. I don't want to hit it because it'll destroy it. It'll become a lump. It doesn't have enough information there. So you always have to resample. So I'm going to make it, instead of 490, I'll make it 1,000,000. Hit OK. That's a little better. Gives it to 0.3. And I can actually increase the density here as well. See if that does anything for us. I'm just afraid it's not going to come on. You know there's a place where I just click right here and it goes up. How does it go up? I want it to go up, I don't want it to go down. 0.3, I want it to be like 1 and 1.2. Anyway, this will work for now. Take a brush, any brush, like clay.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. If I hold down the control key while I do that, it cuts in.
Oh. That's. But how do you know how deep?
How deep?
Yeah.
The way you navigate in here is as long as you're not on top of this geometry,
Yeah.
if you left click outside, it revolves. If you control drag, it zooms. And to pan, you middle click. Okay? Once you're in the middle of the object, it changes. That is your brush.
Right.
If you wanted a bigger brush, you hold down control and you right click from side to side. If you want to control how deep it goes in, you right click, drag up and down. See how the change? See how the shape changes?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you do it.
Cool.
Okay. So let's say, for example, I want to smooth the corner of this. If I hold a shift key down, the brush becomes a smoother. And there's actually a smooth brush, which actually has more impact. Go away. Pop-up menu. And by using that, I can round that right off. And if I want it to go more vigorously, I just increase that. Now this is pressure sensitive, so I'm not having a lot of fun with the mouse. With the stylus, the harder I push, the more it does. So I can dig into it. And of course there are a lot of other fun things you can do. This is very sophisticated software, so it can do a lot of different things. Okay. For example, I can go into one of the move brushes if I want to. Where are you at, move? Move, 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 move. Where are you at? Move. I can push or pull. Yeah. Hard to do that in Rhino.
Yeah.
If you have dents in your surface you don't like, there's a fill brush. It'll actually put material in. It's too large. Oh, I hate when that thing comes up. What are you doing? Thank you. And so you can come in and you can fill in material. If you hold down the shift key, it becomes a smoother. Okay. And there's another set of brushes if you want to go into voxel mode. Now, the thing with Rhino's meshes is they're triangular, so they don't work really great. So usually when you bring something in here, as soon as you bring it in, I didn't do it, I should have. You hit this key. That takes it from a mesh object into a voxel object. Voxels are little cubes instead of little meshes. And once you do that, your object becomes a voxel object. And the brushes that you use are now voxel brushes. And they work in their own way. But the nice thing about once you've taken it into a voxel, you can go back to mesh, and the surface will be different. It'll be untriangulated. But you also have move in here. In the voxel mode. By the way, once it's a voxel, it's solid. The voxels are a geometric solid. You have scraping tools. So you can like use a scraper on clay. And once again you have the smoother. So if I wanted to take that corner down. And so these kind of effects in Rhino are very hard to do. Yeah. Able to come in and go, oh, I just want to soften it a little bit. Rhino doesn't like to do that, you know. Let alone if you want to do something. Well, pinch doesn't usually work very well with this brush. Pinch is really more of a surface brush. See, now it's back into surface mode. These change the shape of your brush. You can see now it's got a point. And of course, if I wanted that to come out the other way, I hold down the control key. It reverses the direction that it goes.
Is there any way to contour, like, for example, if you want to do this and then the other line parallel to that one, is there any way to, like, offset?
No, there's no precision in the sculpting software.
Okay.
This is very much like being in clay. You're only as good as your hand. Okay? Which is fun, right?
Yeah.
Problem is when you bring this back into Rhino, export object.
So this is XTL.
Yeah. When I export it back, I'll export it as an OBJ. It can export STL. I just like to, coming in from Rhino, I always use STL. Going back out from 3D Code, I always use OBJ. So when I look at my drive, I can tell which direction I was going. So that goes out. You can decimate the mesh up to 85% and not lose any detail. So I'm going to decimate the mesh 85. Takes it down to 163,000 from 1.1 million. There it goes. So if I go back over into Rhino now, here's Steph OBJ. This is a mesh object, it's not a inert surface, which means it's kind of dead.
So there's no way to fix the sync environment.
That's right. So once you bring it in, you can Boolean.
Yeah.
You can Boolean on these. It goes under mesh Boolean. All your commands for meshes are here.
Oh.
And there is actually mesh Boolean. So you can actually Boolean mesh objects and Rhino objects and all that jazz.
Okay.
But really, Stephanie, you want to make sure you've got things pretty much the way you want them before you take them into 3D Coat. Because once you pull them out of 3D Coat, you're pretty much done.
So, for example, like making the shell and everything in Rhino, and when I bring back of the surface,
It'll be in the exact same place. You can Boolean it right with the shank. But you can actually take the whole ring into 3D Coat.
yeah, and then.
But remember that when you take things into 3D Coat, you lose crispness.
It's just more, I guess, smoother.
Yeah, this is like clay and organic.
Yeah.
A very good example will be the edge here. See how crisp that edge is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, don't let this little texture freak you out. That is so fine you would never see it in print.
So for next Monday, I'll remodel this thing.
I want the
first.
shank. I want the shank working with the flowers
Okay. And
on both sides.
okay.
And I want a version unbooleaned and I want a version booleaned.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright.
All right. And we're almost out of time, Michelle.
Yes.
Did you have fun watching?
Yeah, I did. I actually for my piece because I saw Sarah yesterday and she was like talking about 3D Coat.
Yeah.
And she's like, one of my pieces is a Y thing, and she said you can go in there and smooth it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was helpful too.
Okay.
But
Can I help you with anything quick? Because I have a kid
no,
here.
I
in
just
10 minutes.
did you Christmas sweets
Mhm.
and like cleaned them up. And then I did this one, and are the openings still too wide? Like
Yes.
too big? Still too big?
Yep. What am I looking at here?
That one, they're pearls, but this is only going to be half. I thought it was too big.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. And once again, I might close up this negative space a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And then so like I was drawing so like comes around so that back also has stones.
Yep. Now, this is way too dinky.
For that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got to make one row of stones, not two.
Okay.
And, yeah. And, yep. Make it nice and thick and beefy.
Okay.
I'd rather see two thick, beefy shanks with no little stone in the middle than dinky little shanks with a tiny stone in the middle.
Okay. Bigger stone.
Have you done your scroll basket project yet?
No.
You did?
Ooh. That's
My issue was when I doing this second one, the shape kind of offset. I don't know what happened to it. That
The shape or the
like
scroll?
the shape, the swirl for the second one.
Well, it does kind of,
So weird.
it doesn't, well, yes, it does. So does that one. They don't look straight because they can't be straight.
Oh yeah.
They, yeah, they can't because they're going around an oval.
So that wasn't.
That's not an issue. It's just what happens. In fact, if you tried to carve it in wax by hand, that's the first thing you would figure out. That you can't have the same scroll going all the way
They
around.
go around and then
And they're going over, they're covering different expanses of space. The computer does the most clean job of dividing that space up properly, but it's going to be inconsistent.
How did you figure out how to one year vaccine?
just pull them closer together as well.
Yeah, I just moved.
Because the one I sent you is not the way.
It's okay. Yeah, you just have to move every other 1.0. No one will ever see it. But yeah, that shank is too thin.
Oh yeah, also about my
Here's yours.
Also, what do you think about the shank? Should I make it
Thicker.
Thicker?
Yes, that is too
Tiny for
limited.
the. Okay.
Yeah. It's a big, powerful ring. It doesn't want a tiny little shank.
But the petal, for now, it's okay.
Yeah, except that they're not really meeting. Some of them are kind of hanging
Yeah.
off by themselves. You've got to make the way they work together a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can get it really close, and you can take it to 3D code, and you can blend all of those junctions together and make it very organic.
So I bring the Boolean model to 3D code and
Mhm.
smooth the things out.
Yep.
Okay.
So you would bring both.
Yeah. This is done in 3D code.
Oh, so it goes smooth to different shape.
Yeah, I went from one model into another model, and I blended where they met.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet, ladies.
So we meet Monday? Same time?
Yeah, Monday. Yep. And there's my child. Listen, kid, I pay you good. You pretend to be my child, or you're fired.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Please don't send me back to the orphanage. I'm trying my best.
Oh, I need to stop this recording.